So I'm studying electronics and computer engineering, and I'm in my fourth year currently. And I want to go towards the CS side, computer science or data science side, because that's my interest. And my GPA, as of seventh semester, comes around 7.04, which is kind of not good. But then for my university, they don't grade so easily. So and I have a IELTS score of 7.5, and GRE around 295 excluding AVA. Yeah. And then I have applied for around 10 to 11 universities. I have received admits for five, waiting for few more, few rejections already. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So I think I have a list here from. So these are, if I understood correctly, the Bridgeport, where you have received admit so far, WPI, UAB, DPOL, and UAT. Is that correct?
UTA, University of
Or,
Texas at Austin.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Where is DPOL? I have not heard about this university.
DePaul is in Chicago, Illinois.
Oh, okay, 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 okay. Got it. And uh, and so, uh, can you walk through quickly what's the question exactly here is? What you're looking for from me in terms of, so you
Probably
got
I
that.
will I will I will put on to that. See, what is happening is now you have six universities. You will find Alabama at Birmingham, then Cleveland, and as well as Texas, Arlington. These are all public aided universities, and the WPI, Bridgeport, and DePaul. These are actually the private universities. So when we actually going through the reviews and other, what will be the criteria for the selection of university? First, we think of like the standards. Probably the what will be the future job prospects when we pass out to certain universities. So gone through the net and worked out something, then we came to know that that is not actually not the criteria. The criteria should be the location of the universities where you should have the opportunities for the part time, then the connectivity, the climatic conditions, the crime rates, the visa acceptability, all those things. So now I find that these universities more or less are having a visa acceptability is also there, but not clear. Like if you see the DePaul is in Chicago, it's a private university. Texas is in Arlington. Now when I go through the reviews of Texas, it says Texas Austin is better than this Arlington. So we're totally confused. DePaul is private university. We are still to receive I-20. We got only a confirmation to submit the financial documents, wherein they were asking for around $49,000, including the living expenses for the first year. Similarly, for the Texas, they asked for around $45,000, and University of Alabama around $45,000. So now we are not clear key. Should we go with the DePaul or should we go with the Texas or should be UAB or any other university? What should be the criteria? One is, yes, definitely I agree. Cost is one of the criteria. Should we need
Right,
to
right.
really spend that much of amount? Is it worth to do that?
So let me go through that. I think I understood what you're saying. So,
Yeah.
so one thing I understood completely that all the admissions are they do not come with any scholarships, if I'm not wrong, right? So
I have
it's
Only
received a
DePaul
scholarship for
has given some
DePaul.
6,000.
yeah, yeah. But if you calculate the net, it looks like you have to pay a lump sum amount of $40,000 a year, if I'm not wrong.
Yes,
Is that
definitely.
it may make
43.
sense? Okay. So the entire course will come something around 60 to $80,000. Is that correct?
Correct, definitely.
Okay, okay. So that part I
That
understand.
includes the living expenses. Let's say
Yeah,
living
yeah,
expenses
yeah,
around
yeah,
18,000. If
yeah,
I'm
yeah.
managing out all the way, it will be around 45, 46,000 will be there for 2 years, only the academics.
Right, right. So I'm just talking about if I include everything, assuming, let's say, I mean, if you are able to get any part-time work, that's fine. But let's say, write down the responsibilities on you, considering
Hmm.
everything. So it's okay. So, um, I think Shrikant, what you mentioned here about, because especially if I'm not wrong, you guys live in Hyderabad,
Yes,
so
sir.
little warmer climate suits you, if I'm not wrong, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So, and I had friends who studied with me. They were from Hyderabad, and I think this was a this was a some sort of a consideration because they like to choose a university or a place where it's not cold seven months out of a year. It's difficult, you know. So
Right.
in that sense, I would say, I mean, here's the thing: the list of universities which you have sent it to me, I have not heard of for DePaul University, to be honest with you. Texas Arlington is very well known. Um, Alabama Birmingham is a very well known university, right? And WPI is well known. Case Cleveland State is well known. But other than that, DePaul or Bridgeport, I'm assuming these are private universities, and I have not heard of those universities, to be honest with you. As far as Srikanth,
Right.
what you mentioned about, if you go to the if you go to the university ranking, one thing you will find that all of these universities, they are not in top 20 or top 50. They are below that. That you mentioned, like, for example, Texas Austin. Texas Austin is one of the top universities in US. So getting there is very, very difficult.
Correct.
It's
Correct.
it's like the people. I would say the people who are from IITs are there. That's that is sort of a university is Texas Austin, unless and until you do really well in your GPA or you have a very high GRE score. So that's. But beside that, I would tell you is I have known a lot of students who have worked went to Texas Arlington and did very well. As I said, it's Texas. First of all, Texas in general is a state which is very safe. Let me put it this way, as compared to if you go to Illinois, like Chicago, or if you go to New York, Philadelphia. Texas in general is a very safe state because because of the politics in there. It's a very safe state. Florida is a very safe state. Alabama, I would say, is a very safe state too, because these are run by mostly conservatives. I would say. But anyway, that's long story short. In terms of that, I would say, um, and as I said, Texas Arlington is a well-known university. The Indian Student Association over there is very well known. There are a lot of Indian students that are there. In fact, you will find if you decide to go there, there are very lot of students you will find there from Hyderabad at Arlington. See, you have to understand one thing. You can also find lot of because of the sheer number of population, Indian students are everywhere, right? And I actually, to be honest with you, I know the university that you are in because one of my very good friend actually, he was a faculty there, and then he moved to IIT Indore. So I consider your university, even though it's a private university, is one of the good university. So I if I was you, I would prefer to go to the university in US, which is also very well known in that sense. And I would say Texas Arlington is a good one if I have to choose you. Alabama Birmingham is a very good university, especially some of those programs at Alabama Birmingham. It's not, I don't know about CS, but some of the engineering programs are really well known. Having said that, I will also tell you one more thing, which is very different from India, is none of US universities, unless until you are in an MBA program or something, they have what we call placement cell. What does that mean is once you graduate, you are on your own. They don't guarantee any job, they don't have any placement. They might have a career services which can help you here and there, but trust me, 99% you are on your own. So you take care of yourself. That means you are the one who are applying, and every student does that. That means once you graduate, even though let's say you graduate from MIT or Harvard or you graduate from Arlington, both students have an opportunity to apply on their own to any of those companies on their website. Of course, if you are from MIT, you get some edge. That's a separate issue. But what I'm trying to tell you is that's how every student does that. One thing I will definitely advise you if you decide to come to US, don't screw up your GPA because unlike in India where getting GPA is very hard, getting GPA in US is very easy. Everybody I had 4.0 and I don't think I studied that hard. So unless and until you really screw up, your GPA is going to go down. And one of the advice I will have for you is, if you go if you're going to apply to any of the jobs in US in any companies, the first thing that they're going to look up is at your GPA. No matter what, their GPA is going to be the I would say number one or number two factor for them. Like they want you to write your GPA on your CV. That's how important it is, because that's the only criterion they will have. Because you have to understand, in US there are 1,000 universities, and in every university everybody is applying for the job, and your GPA is the only way they can normalize where the students stand. So you can say, I did this, I did this, I did that. That's okay. You can do several things. You can take courses, you can do that, but your GPA is going to be very important. So that's number one, right? As I said, if you do well, if you work a little bit harder, getting 4.0 GPA is a piece of cake here. And the second thing I will tell you is, right from the day you arrive, make sure your focus is really on what courses you're gonna take, because you, unlike in India where the university has a set program, here you have a choice to do a lot of elective courses. So make sure what courses you are taking. You know, make sure the courses are relevant to the jobs, because as I said, will have a freedom to take courses what you want to choose, right? So make sure you do that. um, and so, for example, I will give an example. Let's say, if you think that one of the best companies for you to work for after you graduate is Microsoft or Amazon, let's say, as an example, right? Make sure you know what they are looking for, what new technologies that they are working on that is relevant. And it's very easy to do that, because what you can do is just go to Amazon Career and look at the jobs and look at the qualification, look at the criteria they are looking for. They saying that they are looking for someone who knows Python programming, or are they really saying someone who have experience uh, in developing AI modules? I'm just saying as an example. So the way you can answer them is, hey, here I'm Sindhura, and I have taken these courses, and within that course, I took this project, and while doing this project, I work on this area. So you can back it up, right? So plan yourself that way. And the students who do that, trust me, they have no problem, no matter what university you go, what you choose. Because as I said, since you're not from MIT, you have to work hard. You have to prove yourself how great you are. And as I'm telling you, 1,000 universities only from India every year. 20,000 students are coming in. Overall 80,000 students, and you will have a tough time getting an interview like everyone. It doesn't mean you cannot get a job. I will give you another statistics. A lot of times students ask that question where they say, what will happen to, can I able to get a job? What will happen to, can I get an H1? Because that's a relevant question. And I tell them very simple thing. I said, every year 80,000 students come to US, and I'm sure Hyderabad is a flock. Every gully mohalla, you will find next door neighbor is there, right? That's how in Hyderabad is there. How many students you think have come back? Zero, unless until they really screw it up. So that statistics tells you, if you follow the rule, if you do a little bit of hard work, you will be fine. So those questions are irrelevant. What will happen to the job? Can I get a job? What will happen to, and you will find all these students from, even from Hyderabad, if I take it, they are from a spectrum of universities. That means they are from Harvards to all the way to university you will probably never heard of, and
Correct.
everybody's there working. So all that questions are irrelevant. The only thing relevance would be, as I said to you, don't screw up your GPA. Make sure you plan yourself, and I think you will be fine. And everybody
So,
does fine. after that. So,
On
so
this
as far as
universities.
as far as the university selection is concerned, I would definitely say if I look at the list of universities, WPI, UAB, Texas Arlington, the public universities are very well known. What you mentioned, the private universities, one thing also, Shrikant, you have to understand is the education in US is a business,
Mm,
right? It's you have to make sure what decisions you are making
mm,
based
mm,
on,
mm.
I think, the various things you have said. I would say definitely. I will tell you one thing. All these universities you have tell me, I would rank them almost plus minus the same. The one who is giving you where you feel safe, the one where you think you can able to find a part-time job, where you think the after talking to student, let's say you talk to someone who is from Arlington as in a computer science, based on that feedback, based on where the tuition is low, I will go there. Very simple. Yeah.
As per your knowledge and experience, when we compare the Texas and as well as Alabama, so
Mhm.
which one you finds like the climatic conditions and as well as the part-time jobs
Texas.
would be
I would say
Texas?
Texas is much better in terms of climate. Also, it's a warm climate. Alabama is still cold.
Mm, mm, mm,
Texas is a much warmer climate. Although I shouldn't say that. I don't think it's a desert climate, but it's it won't. It's a very flat climate. I don't know. I don't think. I think I have been in Hyderabad once, but I am from north. Like I am from Nainital. I like
Nine.
places where there are hills. I
Yeah,
like
yeah.
hilly climate. So because I went to for my masters, I went to University of Arizona, and I hated it. I hated it just because of the climate, because I got sick, because of the dry climate of the desert. I couldn't handle it at all. For me, that was the biggest problem. Although I had a PhD program, PhD scholarship from there, I had to leave it and go to Maryland, where the grass was much greener and it was much better for me, and it worked out well. I would say all these things matter, and I would say, these days there are also, these news about Indian students getting hurt or killed and all that. I think those are relevant concerns. But
Okay.
if you look at all these students, if you look at all these students, why that has happened to them, you will find a pattern also. The pattern is these guys were late at night. I
Mm,
mean, I can tell you, if you walk around late, 1 a.m., even in India somewhere, you have to be careful.
correct.
Same thing, right? And you're talking about, mm, and some of these students were working in gas stations, which you are not supposed to. It's illegal, and they were working there. They are not supposed to. They are there to work. And a lot of people, especially I have found people from Hyderabad. A lot of students do odd jobs, and I don't think they should be doing it. It's not safe. The gas stations working at 12 a.m. out of nowhere, it's extremely dangerous. I mean, so what I'm trying to tell you is you will not find anybody sitting at home doing their homework, minding their own job at 12 a.m. or even 12 p.m. has been hurt. That's my point. Unless and until somebody gets into your home and try to shoot you. But what I'm saying, you will see a pattern there. So I won't advise you to go out at 12 a.m. on your own, walking around. I mean, who would do that? And nobody is saying I never did that,
Correct.
right? And if we were around, we were in a group of 10 people. So, I would, so if you don't do certain things, you would be fine. I mean, there's unfortunately, the homicide rate in US in some cities is very high. So I would say avoid that. What's the point of going there? It's not like they're offering scholarships. What the hell? Go somewhere which is much better, right? So all those things, I mean, even let's say you tomorrow you get a job in Chicago
Mm,
and you had no choice. You end up there, right? I won't advise you to walk around at 12 a.m. even then,
mm,
right?
mm,
So
mm,
these
mm.
things you have to, as I said, you have to be careful about and all that. And as I said, all these cases you see are unfortunate. It happened. unfortunately, you can these cases would have been avoided. That's what I would say. So don't take them as the only criteria to make a decision. That's my point.
Yeah,
Yes,
understood.
they are relevant, no doubt. They are relevant, but
So
as I
in
said,
that way, in that way, Texas is safer. That's what
I would
you may
definitely
be.
say Texas. Yeah, Texas is much safer. As I said to you, Shrikant, anything can happen. Anything. It's you have to be careful. I am last 20 years I'm living here. I don't do certain things. I avoid
Mm,
going certain places, and that's what it is. What it is. I live very near to Cleveland. I found it like if where the Cleveland State University is, it's a downtown Cleveland. Um, the university is right at the downtown on the east side, which is which is which is very close to Case Western University. And there are flock of Indian students who study there. I mean, it's not like if you don't come there, they don't have flock full of Indian students. But as I said, if you ask me, I won't advise somebody to walk around at 12 a.m. or 1 p.m. at night, right?
mm.
But definitely, but yeah. So I would say, Texas is a good, Alabama is good too. But again, look at the courses. One thing I will definitely tell you is just like you contacted me, contact someone at Texas Arlington, any CS student. The maximum number of students you will find in US are CS students. And trust me, there are a lot and lot of them. I have spoken to a lot of students from Texas Arlington, just not from CS, but from mechanical materials, civil engineering, and so forth. And they everybody gets a job, finds a job, and things like that. So I think you are fine. And I don't know, one thing got stuck to me. It may be because of non-resident, probably because you are still not non-resident. The in Texas, uh, find that out. If you become a resident after a year or so, your fees is like just half.
Okay.
Because one thing is in Texas, the tuition fees are extremely low as compared to other places.
Okay.
That I know for
Okay.
sure. And so find that out. I would say, can you become a resident after a year? Can you establish a residency because you're in Texas for a year? And if that is the case, then you probably will be paying 10, $12,000 for tuition, not more than that. There's another way to save tuition money. Again, how hard you work, Sindhu, right? Totally depends on that. It's your dad's hard work money, right? And I did that. So what happens is the university charges you money based on how many credit you take. So
Correct.
Yes.
every credit is $1,200, right? But what they say is if you go beyond 12 credit or beyond 14, up to 20, the fees is the same. And I did that.
Correct.
It's hard work, but I want to save my dad's money. So what I'm saying, it's possible. A lot of people do that. You have to work hard. I mean, that's why you're there, right? But yeah, if you have tons of money, then probably you can buy a car too. Definitely, that's the case. And a lot of people do all those things. But as I said, you're there to study, and once you are out there, um, I would say the future is not bad. It's a bright future. I have a lot of friends actually who did their masters. They worked for another year, and actually quite few of them went back to India, and they're working in a lot of like Adobe and all those places too. So that's also a case. Like they paid their loan and they said US is not for me, came back. So that happened too. But it's a definitely will be a good experience, no doubt.
But anything from your end you want to ask?
No.
Last question on the GPS side. Uh, I don't know the reviews I'm reading through Quora and other, and there's some videos may be correct or not. Is there any something like this university is very tough to get a GPA? In some universities are easier, or all universities almost they treat or the weightages are in similar lines.
I will tell you one thing, Srikanth, is in US, like in India, the professor job is to fail a student. When they enter the class, that's the job, right?
Okay.
That's a role. I mean, they're
Okay.
very traditional, right? I remember, so I went to IIT, and one of the professor used to tell us is you cannot get 10 GPA because that's perfect. and nobody's perfect.
Correct.
That's how it was, right? So that's the mindset was that. Now it's changing, but that was a traditional old mindset. Was that like my dad mindset was that my dad was a high school teacher. He's used to send me this tell us the same thing. But in US, the goal is the professor will come there with a goal that I want you to learn, not to fail you.
Okay. 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 Okay.
And trust me, that what I have found out. And for that reason, I would say if you do right things, if you don't screw up your exam. I mean, here's the thing. I came to US first time and realized there is something called open book exam. They give you all the books, cheat whatever you want. Who cares? So what does that mean? The focus is if you don't learn, if you don't pay attention in class, you can open any book you want. You won't be able to even move that question,
Yeah, understood. Correct.
right? So be attentive, do your homework. Everything has a weightage. Homework, assignments, your surprise. Some professor comes at class and you're like, okay, let's start as an exam. So prepare. That's how it is. And if you screw it up, you that's your. I mean, the only thing you have to do is study. That's you are there for.
Yeah,
So
definitely.
so
What
I
about
don't
the
think I don't
Careerpedia?
say again.
What about the Careerpedia? What exactly is? It's
Oh
like some sort of a company, or it is
no no no
only like a
no no no
freelancer which
no
you
no
are doing.
no no. I actually what happened, Shrikant, is I during COVID I started. I thought that what should I do other than my work? So I worked for Lockheed. I before that I used to work for Rolls-Royce, and
Okay.
then and right now I work for NASA. And then I thought that I should want to help the students who have like similar questions, because what happened is one thing I realized is the questions are very personalized. Like
Hmm.
you have a
Hmm.
very personalized question, and so I thought, how should I help the students? And with that aim, I said, let me talk to students on LinkedIn, and I got a good response, and they said it's a really good thing. So I this is merely to help them. It doesn't give me any monetary advantage or anything. I make enough money. My wife is a doctor. I make enough money, so I don't need that. This is just to help them. And the one thing I realize is I wish somebody could have helped me because I could have made better decision.
Yeah,
You know what
definitely.
I mean? And so, this is how I started it. And just like you contacted me, I have another student's going to talk to me after you. And I have
Okay.
a seminar tomorrow I'm giving at IIT Kanpur. So,
Oh, so it's a virtual.
oh yeah, yeah, because I live in US, so I can't come there unless and until I come
You are
next
a
year.
mechanical engineer.
I did a lot of engineering, and my undergrad was in mining engineering actually. And
Oh,
then I went to US, came my master's in civil engineering, then my PhD in mechanical, then my postdoc in materials, and then I worked at a national lab, and then Rolls-Royce, and then I moved around, start my startup, and then I got a job at Lockheed, so I started working that. So I work on F-15, F-16, these fighter planes, and then some of the space
oh,
program for NASA and the new moon mission, things like that. Yeah.
yeah, because
So
Rolls-Royce is aerodynamic engines and others, I believe they manufacture
right,
as well.
right, right. So my background was more on material side, as you mentioned. So
Okay.
my job was to look at into new class of materials for high temperature. So right now, for example, in the
Metallurgy, basically.
it's a material science which is basically characterization and metallurgy. So I'm not a complete metallurgist. I don't think I'm that. Yeah, but yeah. So that's how it moved around, and again, it's been 20 years, and I have my ups and downs too. I lost job 2 times. It happens, but you have to be prepared. Jobs are, my dad asked me, how can you lose a job? I said, it's not sarkari job nowadays. So what I'm saying is, with time, I also realized that you have to be on top of the game every freaking time. It's just not the school. What you're saying, Sindhura, is this is the life. Now your dad is not can't take care of you. You have to take care of yourself. You gonna decide your future, not your dad. And welcome to the real world. That's all I can say.
Yeah,
Your dad already know what I'm talking about. So
yeah, yeah, correct, correct, correct.
so
So,
yep. Life is just started now.
Yeah, correct.
So yeah, but as you said, I think it's a right decision. I'm glad your dad is helping out to you. So I hope you take care of his hard-earned money and do the right thing. So okay,
Thank you, Amit. I actually, in
yeah,
a very short time,
no problem, no
you,
problem.
in fact, obliged to what I meant to say, guide us, taking your time, valuable time, and
Yeah, yeah, no
thanks a lot.
problem. No, yeah, yeah, no problem, Shrikant. And Sundar, if you come by, make a decision, come by, just shoot me an email that I'm here. Okay? If you need any
Yes,
help,
sir.
I might be able to connect you with somebody. Okay? Thanks, Shrikant.
Definitely. So
Bye.
nice of you. Thank you. Thank you. Bye. Bye.
Yeah, no.